Why are they saying Hurricane Milton could be the most powerful hurricane to hit Florida, but the trackers are all projecting it to weaken to a Category 3 by the time it hits land? Katrina was a Cat 3 at landfall too. The angle it's hitting at. Very few storms have hit straight on and across like that, most curve upward. The hurricane's category is just based on sustained wind speed, but there's more to a hurricane's devastation than just the wind speed, like how large it is, i.e. how much land area will experience high winds or the volume of ocean water the hurricane is pushing before at the storm surge, which is one of the main reasons for flooding. Even if Milton's wind speeds drop, they'll still be very, very high, and those other measures are very large. Note that wind speed always starts dropping when the hurricane hits land, because it's fueled by atmospheric effects that happen over the ocean. Think of like a spinning top on glass that veers into sand. In terms of how much sand it kicks up and disturbs, the rotational speed of the top definitely matters, but so does its size, its direction, etc. stuff that impacts how much total force it's bringing with it. It's going to be either a lower Category 4 or a high Category 3. The difference does not matter, it's projected to be literally a 5 mph difference that will make it either a 4 or 3. Also, no hurricane has hit the Tampa Bay at a bad angle for 100 years. This one might also not, but if it does, it will amplify the damage by a lot. Also, if it goes straight across through Orlando, it's basically a big city all the way across the peninsula. A bunch of factors, like others have said. Its large trajectory is rare Cat3 wind speed, but over a larger area that hasn't been hit directly in a while, oversaturated and debris-ridden land. It's projected to calm down, but so were others. In the small chance it doesn't calm down or has a quick resurgence, it could be much worse. I.e. Hurricane Charlie went from a Cat2 to Cat4 in 3 hours, then took a hard right into Charlotte Harbor. This why I like how NOAA categorizes hurricanes. When it's a 3, I treat it as a 45. Storm surge. Katrina was a Category 3 storm. At landfall, the devastation of a hurricane is a large part dependent on how prepared an area is in terms of infrastructure for a storm. Much like Louisiana, Florida has to worry a lot about keeping water out. Storm surges and flooding will be some of the main risks to deal with, on top of the fact that parts of Florida were already heavily impacted by Helene and are really not ready to handle another massive storm. The impacts of a storm like this won't necessarily be from the wind speed of the hurricane alone. The Democrats are going to turn it up as it get closer to land. Damn it, why didn't Trump give Biden his Sharpie? Intensity. We're worried about intensity, which is driven by the lower pressure. Lower the pressure, higher the water rises in the middle of the hurricane. That water is then violently pushed onto shore. It's not a slow tide, you are suddenly pushing 10-15 ft of water onto shore. That's what we are talking about. Because it already escalated to a Cat 5 in the ocean, all of that Cat 5 momentum is still traveling with it, even if it slows before landfall. Like a speeding car that suddenly brakes to skid to stop, the speeding momentum is still powering it. June 1st U2.BUIZQQZZ1 YC equals GUKLEUJCFDJ SJ uploaded a video today explaining why it's the most powerful. Milton set records today with how quickly it strengthened. Went from Cat 1 to Cat 5 in 18 HRS. Everything about this storm is insane. Tampa Bay has not had a direct hit like this since 1921. Storm surge is predicted to be 10-15 FT. Helene was 8 FT. It's gonna be catastrophic. It's a big storm hitting the east side of Florida, which is normally more protected because hurricanes mostly go north and west at these latitudes. It's expected to be one of the most impactful known to hit this part of Florida. It reached Category 5 and is losing airspeed as two things happen. It forms a larger eye wall and it travels at double speed while it reforms from partly hitting land. The larger eye wall is a trade-off, leaving a weaker moment for the storm, but making it convert a wider area. The reform and sprint is just good news, less time for the storm to build power. If it didn't, it would be reminiscent of Katrina, that reduced to a Category 3 storm as it expanded at landfall. Milton is still a big storm, but shouldn't be as bad as Katrina. Everyone could be until it happens and we see. Along with what many PPL have said, we also have to think about high tide when it makes landfall. Well, you see, it's one of the wettest we've ever seen, from the standpoint of water. A category is just a number. This thing is small, and I believe the smaller the eye, the faster and more destructive it will be. It's only 6 miles wide and hurricane winds are expected to reach 50 miles in diameter, going directly across the state. It's going to leave a terrible path of destruction, and I am right in the landfall zone in Manatee County. We are seasoned when it comes to hurricanes, but we are all very nervous. This is a scary one. 2-word storm surge. It's a roll of the dice with weather. It may just poop out once it hits landfall, or it may drop a house on DeSantis. The question is, how much are you willing to bet?